All right, this short little video is going to focus on finding the distance between 2 points on a number line. We'll look at a couple of different examples here that hopefully will help you work your way through any of these problems. So we're going to start with an example where we have a number line here, and you can see 0 is located here, and I simply put 0 in every one of these so we can see where the numbers are located in relation to 0. We have a point at 2 and we have a point at 6, and so we want to know the distance between those 2 points. I tell my students that anytime you want to find the distance on a number line, it is always the big number minus the small number. It's the larger of the two numbers minus the smaller of the two numbers. The larger number is always found further to the right. Remember, on a number line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the numbers get bigger as you go that direction. So don't get caught in looking at, oh, it's a fraction, this or that. Whichever point is further to the right, that's going to be the larger number. So in this case, my larger number is 6. Distance on a number line should say that I'm going to take 6. I'm going to subtract the 2. Final answer in this case would be 4. Now, I don't think that's too amazing, but I just want you to remember that if we take the big number minus the small number, that will always give us the distance between those 2 points. We're going to move to a situation where 0 is now in the middle. We have a point that's on the negative side. We also have a point that's on the positive side. Remember what we just said. We always want to take the big minus the small. The big number is always further to the right. So in this case, there we go. We're going to take 3, and we have to subtract a negative 2. I'm going to put parentheses there just to subtract those two signs, or to separate those two signs. But that looks like I need to take, and in this case, I remember 2 negatives in a row makes a positive, so it's going to be 3 plus 2, or simply 5. But remembering in this case that we would take my number 3, and we're going to subtract the negative, which means we end up adding those numbers. Next example, we're going to put the 2 points, and they're both going to be on the negative side. But again, it does not change. And remembering that the bigger numbers are always further to the right, even though 4 looks bigger, because negative 1 is further to the right, which it is, that is a bigger number. So I'm going to say negative 1, subtract a negative 4. I'll work my way through that just a little bit. Negative 1, 2 negatives makes a positive, so that's really negative 1 plus 4, which gives me an answer of 3. And if you think about it, those two numbers, negative 1 and negative 4, are 3 units apart in that case. So I give you 3 examples. They all had nice integers to work with. The answers turned out to be nice whole numbers. So what happens if we have something like one of the situations we just have, but we have 0 in the middle, we have negative 1/2 as a point, and we have 2/3 as the other point. Again, the whole gist behind what we're doing here is we always take the larger number, which in this case is 2/3, and we will subtract the negative 1/2. Remembering that it's always the point on the right, subtract the point on the left. In this case, again, the 2 negatives makes a positive, so I'm really left with the problem 2/3 plus 1/2. Sometimes we wonder why the elementary teachers had us working on adding fractions and all those things. This is the reason. We need to make sure that we're able to add with common denominators. And in this case, we'll have a common denominator of 6. 2/3 is the same as 4/6. 1/2 is the same as 3/6. And if we add those, we have an answer of 7/6. Or some of you might say, let's make that into a mixed number, and we'll go with 1 1/6 for the answer there. But we certainly are able to do those things. I guess I show you these things. It wouldn't matter if I had 0 here, and maybe I threw a point in here and said it's negative 1/3, and this one is negative 5/4. The bottom line is I'm now going to take my point on the right, which is negative 1/3, and I will subtract the negative 5/4. Again, with a little bit of algebra, 2 negatives makes a positive, and I'm going to have to work my way through with a common denominator, which would be 12. So we'll have 12 here, 12 here. 1/3 is the same as 4/12, but remember it's negative in this case. This would be the same as 15/12. And I'll now combine my negative 4 and my positive 15, which gives me an answer of, I believe, 11/12 for the answer, and that is how far those are apart. So hopefully that little lesson helps you out in terms of finding the distance between 2 points on a number line. Remember, it's always the number on the right or the point on the right. That value, subtract the value of the point on the left.